Yo, what's the deal? It's your boy Klasic from Classic Live. I got the homie OG Corn Dog in the building. Before we get started with this video, I'm gonna need y'all to do two things, man. Hit that like and make sure that you subscribe. No matter what platform you on, you can hit that like, you can heart the video, do whatever it is, get your boy in the algorithm. You feel me? Salute to everybody that's watching on different platforms and everything. And we got a double header going on. It's a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood, man. You know, first we got Dr. quote unquote Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She's been making her rounds, and a lot of people not been feeling what she's been talking about. Now, she's a self-proclaimed doctor, you know, and maybe we can talk about the fact of people that scam in the black community because apparently she went on a TV show or a talk show, and you know what? I wouldn't say a TV show. It was like some type of YouTube show or whatever it was because she had a profanity laced rant about she don't have to show her mother effing degree and she don't have to prove X, Y, and Z. So, you know, if somebody has a rebuttal that's filled with profanity about them showing some type of credentials in the age of social media where everybody love to show their accolades and accomplishments, it sounds like she's capping. Because chat, you know how many people, if they get a degree, they'll be posing their pictures, showing their booty, all that type of shit. So it seemed kind of fishy. And this one clip went real viral recently with this journalist, I guess you want to call him by the name of Torre. They was going back and forth, and it's kind of just showing her character. You know, this isn't the first time that she had like a lapse in her character to where people kind of seeing the true colors of how she act. And a lot of people been speculating, bro. On that topic, you know anything about that, bro?
Man, I do not know who she is, period. I seen the title and I'm like, who is this? I try to look her up real quick, but you gave me enough information right there as soon as you said self-proclaimed. Like that tells it all right there. Like, what? So she out here running scams, huh? Some type of what, psychiatrist or something like this?
Yeah,
What?
man. And she's charging people hundreds of dollars for sessions and stuff. And this isn't like the reason why this is so prevalent. This isn't the first time that we've seen somebody come through the community and do a self-proclaim of their in whatever expertise just to get some dollars. And it make me think like we had the brother polites, we had the nature boys, we had the, I wouldn't say Dr. Umar Johnson is fraudulent because I think he actually do have a possible degree. But when it comes to showing some type of receipts as far as building a school, it took him down there like 15, 20 years to build a school. And it don't take that long. People could pull out the receipts of how many donations of the hundreds of thousands, damn near millions of dollars that been donated to him. So we've seen this time and time again when we have people of our own community come through and take advantage of us, and it's pretty sad. Like my whole thing about that is I think people that do that to our community is worse than the outside people that they say that always do stuff to our community because you know exactly where we come from. So you should be more sympathetic to our plight, but you're using that for your own advantage. And I feel like that's real scumbag type of stuff. So uh her history, the funny part about it is she was on Basketball Wives before. People was talking about that. And I seen a clip, I think Little Fizz was saying like she was a video vixen before that. So, the background is kind of sketchy. Video vixen, Basketball Wives, now you're a doctor.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I don't know, man. And it's a lot of stuff that's going on with her, but we're gonna watch that clip. Now on to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart recently had a roast, and a lot of people was talking about, Cat Williams, because Cat Williams had this long ongoing issue with Kevin Hart, and he roasted him pretty good.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people didn't talk about was, I think that was Sherry Underwood. She got on stage and she blasted some people.
Yo, yeah, she tore it up.
Yeah, she did her thing on that. Um, the problem that arose from that whole situation was the fact that one of these comedians made a George Floyd joke to
Oh,
where that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Overall, I think it's, I guess that's dark humor, but it still can be distasteful. You're talking about somebody that lost his life in unnecessary. I'm about to say it's tragic, and I think it was unnecessary. Like
it was
how he
evil.
was kind of acting, he was kind of acting erratic, but that don't give the right of the police officers to ignore him saying that he couldn't breathe and all these other things. Like the police officer was really at fault because there was a lot of people in that area at the same time. They're not police, but if they're giving you, hey, you're on his neck or X, Y, and Z,
Right.
you should try to capitulate to what's going on in that scenario and try to make sure it don't have to look good, but make sure that the person is actually healthy to where he's not, potentially losing his life. So the dude made a joke about that, and I think one of George Floyd's relatives got on a Breakfast Club, and no matter of fact, Kevin Hart got on a Breakfast Club to try to clear everything up, and it didn't go too good. And George Floyd relatives got on the Breakfast Club, and they expressed how they felt about it. So, it's caused a lot of controversy to where people are saying the stuff that Cat Williams was saying about Kevin Hart is true. So, what are your thoughts about that, bro?
I did watch the roast. I got to about uh I don't know, after Regina Hall, and then I cut it off. I didn't get to watch the rest. I didn't get to see the joke. I didn't even hear the joke about George Floyd.
Yeah,
Um, I might pop it on when I after the cast. But the roast, all in all, yeah, it was okay. Um, they said they tried to say, Tony Hinchcliffe, came kind of hard, and that's his style anyway. He's gonna do that. You know what I mean? He's a shock. He's one of those shock comedians like that. You know what I mean? And in a way, it seemed like he's making it more comfortable for other white comedians that talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, eh, it's a that's like a real, like, how do you say, a blurry line, or
let's say like gray line or
yeah,
something.
great line right there. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with comedy, and comedy is subjective. You know what I mean? All people's not gonna like it. You know, but it's a part of truth. You know what I mean? In a way, in a sense. So, I took it like that. You know what I'm saying? These roasts has been going on since, I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Way back in the '70s, and they was going hard then. And when I seen up to the point to what I seen, the jokes weren't that bad, but I didn't see the rest. You know what I mean? Um, Flavor Flav, that roast was crazy. You know what I'm saying? They went hard on Flav. Now,
Monkey and all this.
oh man, piece of doodoo and all kind of stuff. Like man, that was cold. And his mama was there. Like, come on, man. Now that was bad. Okay, but it was also funny. I'm sorry, dude. That shit was hilarious, man. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I got a dark sense of humor, so I laugh at things like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta laugh at yourself, man. For real. It's
question,
comedy, dude.
question, question. Uh, the statement that was made, it was made in the light of how he lost his life. It wasn't one of those dark humor, racial type of jokes. It was just about the tragedy of what happened. So, it's on the same level as somebody, when Aaliyah passed away, somebody make a plane joke or something. So would you say that that's acceptable, or like you said, like because it's comedy, or things like that shouldn't exist?
Um, It's comedy, dude. And that's a lane to where they can say things that people don't like and still get a laugh off of it. You know what I mean? George Carlin, old white comedian. He was very controversial back in the days, like I guess the 70s and 80s. You know what I'm saying? His style of comedy was very controversial. He would say all kind of crazy stuff. And I kind of look at it at that way as that style of comedy like George Carlin, like the way Tony Hinchcliffe came out with, all his jokes. And the other guy, what's the guy's name? The comedian that did the George Floyd joke.
That's a good question, man. Yeah, keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't see, but that's distasteful. And when you're writing the joke that this is you're gonna hear some
hey,
in the
bro.
audience.
Matter of fact, you said his name earlier, Tony Hitchcliffe.
Oh, it was Tony.
Yeah.
Kill Tony. Yeah. He's controversial, bro. You know what I'm saying? The things he say, I don't take it as like, damn, like I think he's just trying to, get a shock, trying to shock people. You know what I mean? I don't think he necessarily feels like that because I think he has black friends. You know what I mean? I think he does. I don't know. It was always a mystery about that guy too, because they always made gay jokes about him, and I was like, dude, is he gay? You know what I mean? Like, because every other joke is like it's a gay joke about Tony. They be killing him with that shit. You ever watch Kill Tony? Shit's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
They say wild stuff on there. But I seen the I don't think I seen that. I seen his whole stand up, his whole roast. I don't even remember that part, dude, with the George Floyd.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
It was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like in reference to something that somebody can't breathe or whatever it is, to the point to where people are like, oh yeah, he's talking about, George Floyd type stuff. So
yeah, and that being that controversial like that, and you just want to say is this comedy, you can't get mad at it. But what if you like, at a show or something with other comedians and happen to be other black comedians there and they having a plot, and then they see, you looking like Ray J. You know what I'm saying? So hey, you gotta be careful what you say for real.
They trying to be edgy, and honestly, that could be one of the consequences when you're, because let's be real. I agree with you on the fact that I don't think he was saying that to be racial or anything. I think he was saying like, oh, I know this would like kind of be kind of pushy, because at the end of the day, if he didn't make that comment, if Cat Williams didn't go off the way that he was going off, and the reason why they was talking about it was the fact that, man, Cat Williams, he was meaning a lot of that stuff that he was saying. It wasn't no jokes. So that could have been something that was like crossing the line. So with Tony doing the same thing, he knew that would get people talking. It would evoke emotion. Hey, at the end of the day, if nobody feel no type of way, you're not doing your job good enough. Either they're gonna love you or hate you or whatever it is. So if you're receiving some type of hate, you got to take that as well as you take the love. And I think he knew what he was doing with that, because we're talking about it now, and it's
right, exactly.
Borderline to the point to where people thinking that Kevin Hart should be canceled, and I find that kind of funny. Why are people going at Kevin Hart for something that somebody else said? Like, they should be on Tony Hinchcliffe ass about that if that's the case,
right? Because and plus Kevin Hart is not the one putting the money up for the roast, right?
Yeah,
I mean, when you get roasted, you being honored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't blame him for being honored. That's the way other comedians honored fellow comedians. You know what I mean? So, and another thing too, man, it's a lot of sensitive ass people out there in the world now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
People have to start developing a little bit more thick skin, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, dude, come on, man. Like, sound like crybaby shit. You know what I'm saying? Get
Yeah.
over it, man. Just get over it, bro. God damn.
The comedy of today is not the comedy of what a lot of us grew up through, like the Raw, the Richard Pryor and stuff. You
Right,
know,
right,
the Robin Harris,
right,
the Bernie Macs and stuff. That was
right, right.
very straight to the point and let you know exactly how they feel. And I think,
Yeah,
like you said, people are too soft nowadays to where you can't say a lot of stuff that's very real. They get offended by it. You
right.
know, it's considered as quote unquote hate. So, you know, I agree with you on that. Like, people need to like soften up about all this stuff. Let's get through a couple of these comments and then review some of these videos, man. We got
So,
33rd State in the building. Hey, classic OG corn dog.
what up, yo?
Hope you both doing awesome. We got D Love in the building saying, hey, classic music. Hey, OG corn dog. She said,
Hey,
yep,
D.
OG corn dog. She also said the line was crossed with purpose and intention to incite, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. D Love also said it's like those one type of people who like to get beat up. Hey, for real, when you start
Hey,
speaking like that, you know,
hey,
anything can happen.
you
She
know?
said, yeah, classic music. She also said, but I also think it was to incite for sure. Uh, we figuring gas and groceries right now. Yeah, man.
Uh,
33rd said, bro got the Taki hoodie, bet his fingers red. Just joking. For sure. All right, well, let's get into this first video by of course, that one dude, Poetic Flacco, man. So let's see what
Frederick.
the hell well, you said what?
Frederick.
Frederick Jala. And let's see what this dude got to say about this stuff, man. So it says the Breakfast Club interview just ruined Kevin Hart's life. Exposed badly. Let's go.
Kevin Hart just pissed off black people again and reignited the hate mob against them. Now, his response, I personally don't have a problem with. I just don't think.
Hey, bro, D-Love said his feedback.
It was smart at all to do. He came on specifically to respond back to the recent backlash he was getting because George Floyd family has made it pretty clear they not rocking with Kevin at all. And they made it clear during an interview with Lauren LaRosa when they brought up the Kevin Hart roast and they brought up how Tony Hinchcliffe during this roast, as well as other roasts, disrespected George Floyd, made fun of George Floyd, made George Floyd a subject of discussion when, you know, George Floyd was not in the room, and a roast is supposed to be a roast of the people in the room. Now, he made this clear while talking to Lauren LaRosa, and George Floyd family also did an interview with TMZ.
Thank you for joining me. I feel like we always have to have conversations around these things. So, you know, I apologize for that. But yeah, I think, you know, sometimes the conversations are needed for people to hear from you guys as George Floyd's family firsthand. So yes. I know you had saw some of the comments that we had made at the Breakfast Club in response to Tony Hinchcliffe and the George Floyd joke that was, you know, said at the Kevin Hart roast.
You've done good, though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
Oh.
And you wanted to kind of talk a bit about that. So just let me know. Number one.
Hey.
So
hey, you see what he said, but the first part of the joke was
the looking up. So basically, he's in hell.
Yeah.
And he's saying that he can't breathe. Now, what's your take on that, bro?
That's not cool, bro. Because first of all, you making a statement saying that he in hell. You know what I'm saying? For him to be taken out like that, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Because what I seen was not on a malicious intent, but I just seen the epitome of evilness right there. The way that guy had his face, the cop had his face, the way he looked, the way he stayed stern, and he had his knee right there and wasn't going to move. That was just total evil to me. You know what I mean? So for George Floyd to be taken out like that, dude, there's no way that he's looking up at all. Now that can't breathe part, that's just wrong, man. Like you might get beat up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like celebrities ain't safe like that. You know what I mean? He be pushing the line, man. He do. He pushes the line. He wants to push the line. That's just part of his act. He's going to continue to do that. You know, good luck to you, Tony, on that. You know, but like I said, I think he got a lot of black friends, man.
Yeah, that dude. I was about to say, like, it gives me. I can say this because I know, like how you said, oh, he's going to end up getting beat up. That's highly unlikely. I know he probably got security.
All right.
Now, his friends that's on that Comedy Kill Tony show, David Lucas.
There you go.
He make the same type of jokes. So,
right.
You know, it's kind of hard to say that, you know, even though it may not be right, I don't think he will be around people that will get on his head or reprimand him about that.
So for David Lucas, he was the first one to go viral off of George Floyd joke. Off of Kill Tony's show.
Yeah.
And I guess he just seen it that way, like, oh, let's get a rise out of him. And, you know, David is black. David Lucas is black. He makes the joke, and it was still, it was terrible. That was a terrible joke right there, especially coming from a black man. And then you want to mimic the joke, well, you know what I'm saying, for the shock value of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to do that, dude. You ain't got to really go that far, bro. You know, not just for a joke. Come on, man.
Not gonna lie, bro. I think it was unnecessary, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say it is what it is, but it's like, what will actually be done about it? You know, if people like is it Joyner Lucas or David Lucas? Whatever his fat ass name
David
is.
Lucas. David Lucas.
Yeah, whatever. That dude, he's already crossing the line like that. It's kind of like, this gives me the same vibe of how, you know, the whole N-word started, and then how we flipped it around to mean something positive, and then now we kind of pick and choose on the people that we feel like it's cool to say it, but in totality, if we don't use it at all, then we could tell other people not to say it. But if you got, you know, black people making the same type of joke, then it's like, then what's the difference between, you know, David and then this white guy saying it, you know? So I don't think David should have said that at all. When I first heard that, I was like, damn, that's cold.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, after that, what's going to be done? Because nobody's really going to, like, you know, check him about that. I think they should check him, but
right,
you know, it's just today people are mad, and then tomorrow is on to the next thing. So my question is, all right, so what's the solution for this? You know, so I don't think that, like I said, I don't think that it was right. That was cold to say that the dude would be in hell, and to make fun of how he passed away. Like, yeah, that's kind of, that sucks and shit. But it's just like, I don't know. Again, why the fuck are they on Kevin Hart head about what this dude said?
Right. Right. Like, yeah, he's the one being honored.
That part.
Like, why you guys don't understand that part of it? Like,
hey, I'm not gonna lie. People are mad. They say, how come Kevin Hart didn't say nothing? Basically, he was supposed to get up out of his chair, check him right then and there, and then people would have felt satisfied or justified whatever happened.
Most of those jokes was I don't think those are a lot of people that was up there that they didn't write most of their material. Draymond Green, he said it a couple of times. He said, I gotta read it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
There was other people that was up there. Yeah, they was like, hey, I gotta say this. This is what they want me to say. You know what I'm saying? So they just reading from the teleprompter. You know what I mean? So it wasn't nobody. Nobody came and wrote their original jokes. That's what they used to do on the roasts back in the days. They used to write their own jokes that come up there. But now they're reading off the teleprompter. They giving them jokes to read off to, and that doesn't make it authentic. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't think I liked it. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. No. The past roast, man. Flavor Flav was one of the best. Donald Trump was one of the best, and it was another round in that era right there. Yeah,
the Flavor Flav one and the Donald Trump roast, that shit was funny as hell. And and that's what I'm saying. They was going in on that deaf white lady that was comedian. They was going in on her. You know, so it's like that's what happens when you stepping in the roast. It's basically the same way like when you go to these comedy shows and sit in the front row.
Hey, but she was tearing people up too, though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, you see how it is. They making fun of a deaf woman. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, there's no holds bars in these roads, man. So it's like, as long as you don't say nothing like just like totally racist and everybody would find distasteful, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right. It's a roast. You know what I'm saying? People, stop being so sensitive out there. You know what I mean? Laugh a little bit. You got to laugh at yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you said earlier, it's that gray line. It's a very thin line that they walking on to where either it's hateful, very distasteful, and all they're looking for is a good joke. But a lot of people don't take it that way. So, you know, that's why
he might get socked up for that, dude.
Hey, I believe it. Because somebody's going to feel pissed off, but I believe he's saying that because, like I said earlier, he got people around him saying the same type of jokes. He got security to where people ain't going to be able to walk up on him like that. But, hey, you can't be secure 24/7. D-Love said they're working overtime to incite us. They're in races.
Right.
D-Love said, right class music. Oh, we got Splashy in the building. Warren dog. Yeah, he's on you.
There
man.
you go. Yo, Splashy. I don't swing that way, bro.
D-Love said they on his case because he didn't shut it down, in my opinion. She talking about Kevin Hart. So, like I said, that they're mad at Kevin Hart for not saying anything about it, but it's like, damn, like, he's supposed to he's supposed to get up and pull a Will Smith and slap the nigga or some shit, like in the middle of the roast. Like, I don't know, bro. D-Love said, how many times we gonna allow people to disrespect and run us over? I hear her on that.
Yeah.
She also said, in this climate and state, where do we draw the line? Hey, I'm telling you, that's D-Love's on point. That's some good questions. And then she also said, accurate, he should have checked them. So it's like, how much is too much? Like, I agree with both of y'all. I agree with D-Love saying, like, hey, they doing this stuff on purpose. It's low-key gaslighting, because it's like, you know, it's like your white friend around you, and then we singing a rap song, and then it's just like the R, and it's the R. It's like, all right, you getting closer and closer now until like, hey, fool, what the fuck you doing, bro? Like, chill out, you know. So
right.
Low key kind of push the button to see what's gonna make people go off. And then I agree with you also. You saying that it's comedy, and that's where we have to understand: are these people drawing that line, or they're just doing their jobs? Like, a lot of this stuff that's being said, you know, it has to be approved. So it isn't Kevin Hart. It's the people that's writing these jokes, and whoever the upper heads are saying, like, okay, that's good to go. Let them say a joke about that specific group of people that got a lot of money, that got all the money, or run all these corporations and stuff. Let them make a joke about them and see how fast they shut the whole roast down.
Huh.
So, I understand where both of y'all are coming from, and I low-key agree on both of y'all. So it's just crazy. Let's get a couple more comments and get back to the video. You got anything else to say, Corny?
Oh, no, go ahead.
All right, she said, there's plenty of other stuff to joke about. Simple and plain, that part.
That's
Physical
true.
attributes, make short jokes all day. So, hey, I agree. All right, let's get back to it.
Did you watch the roast just as a Kevin Hart fan, or like did you hear about it afterward?
Artlist Studio is here. The AI
Ah.
All right, here we go.
team's creative out.
I heard about it afterwards, and I understand a roast. Let me just clarify that. I understand a roast, and from what I understand about a roast is about what you joke about that person specifically. So the reason why I felt kind of uneasy is because I was trying to figure out what did that have to do. What kind of punchline was that?
Y'all heard me co-sign those sentiments when I made my video on the joke. I just thought, like, how many more opportunities do black folks have to give Tony Hinchcliffe to disrespect us? George Floyd was not in the room. It was a roast of people in the room. He brought up George Floyd because he knew what he was doing. He has brought up George Floyd in every other roast he has done. And that's something the family has also touched on. This man keeps on bringing up George Floyd to disrespect them. He has this weird obsession with George Floyd, and quite frankly, I think the weird obsession comes because he understands that it's going to piss off black people, and that's his aim when he does these things. He wants to piss off black people. He can't thrive without us. He wants our reaction. And yeah, this time it worked brilliantly, all right? We are calling it out because, at what point is enough is enough? So the brother does speak on that. He does touch on how Tony Hinchcliffe made a George Floyd joke during the Tom Brady roast.
And I'm gonna speak from my point of view. Is comedy a roast is a roast is without one person. Comedy is to make people, laugh and enjoy themselves. It's not supposed to be where you feel some type of way after you leave the room. You're supposed to leave with healing and happiness. And that wasn't the case. And I'm speaking from my point of view about my brother and from my family, but I'm even gonna go as far as the other topics with Bill Cosby. Those are other people's issues, and you don't know what kind of trauma and tragedy that family was going through. So stick to just who you supposed to be roasting. That's just my feeling on it.
And, in us covering this, I started to kind of like research, because when I first saw the statement, there was a line about the rep who spoke out for Gianna and the George Floyd organization that says something about you guys, as the family, mentioning his obsession with your brother, with George Floyd. So it made me, in the room, Just Hilarious asked, like, well, was this the first time that he mentioned something? And I went back and I realized that he had gotten some pushback back in 2024 when he joked about George Floyd or made a reference to George Floyd during the Tom Brady roast.
Look like the final boss in George Floyd, the video game.
Would it be the second time? Do you feel like it's even more of a disrespect, or like does that kind of compile onto things for you?
I would say it's totally disrespectful. It's totally disrespectful, but
I think the brother did a great job at articulating what the general consensus is and critique on the roast, and Tony Hinchcliffe bringing up George Floyd during the roast. Now, Kevin Hart came on a Breakfast Club, and I'll be real, Kevin Hart didn't handle this great at all, not one bit. Now, you kind of understand his response and understand his frustration of, hey, I didn't make the joke. Why y'all mad at me?
Yeah, the George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience. But our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. This isn't a new. It's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Like I don't expect less. I don't expect more.
I feel like you're saying going too far is the point. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, I mean that's why you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this, but I'm going to because we're being honest. People are talking about that joke. Talk about his set. Tony Hinchcliffe arguably had the best set.
People did not like this at all. Now,
all right, so two things. Apparently, this is Tony's ongoing joke about George Floyd because they said that he said it multiple different times. And Kevin Hart responds and saying basically, hey, this is comedy. This is a roast. You know what you're here for, and you're getting what you get. So what you feel about that, bro?
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how they honor the person, the roastee. You know what I mean? It's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we were just saying about the Trump roast and the Flavor Flav roast. Kevin Hart was just saying just like that. It's always been like this. And she's asking him about the joke, like, how do you think he went too far? And he said it straight up. It's Tony Hinchcliffe. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. Like, that's his style. You know what I mean? That's what type of comedian he is. It's just like it's like George Carlin. He could be George Carlin's son. You know what I'm saying? It's the same style. That's the way he gets down. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own style. And it's a roast. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting roasted, you're getting bagged on and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as black people, we played that game all our lives since we were kids, which made us develop thick skin. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know about these kids today, man. I don't know. Gen Z is kind of soft.
But once somebody say your mama,
right.
You get on and cracking.
Yeah, so. Exactly. That part. So, but you know, we used to bag on each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, like that's how I look at it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no harm intended, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just people, you know, having fun, and it's comedy, bro. Like I can't be mad at comedy like that, dude, unless I hear something that's just straight up like totally racist and one-sided, and it's only a certain group of people that's gonna find it funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't know who laughed off of that joke in America when they was watching it live in their homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They could have been people looking like us laughing at that joke. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like we already see the other dude, the fat black guy, he's making a joke. So we already know that there's people that's from our ilk that's gonna laugh at it. They don't feel too closely attached to it to where it's like, well, shit, he caused it on himself, basically. He shouldn't have went in there with no fake $20 bill or, you know, acting all crazy. So everybody don't look at George Floyd as somebody to quote unquote, I guess, feel sorry about because of all the stuff that transpired. I think that's a little bit pushing the line a little bit too far, but overall, I hear where you coming from on that. It just this discussion really got me thinking. D Love said, "No, we don't get it, Kevin." I don't think, and it's not on way to disrespect our dear ones that passed. Well, basically she's saying like, yeah, she's not cool with it, and she don't think that's a cool way to be disrespecting the dead.
That's true.
Who have they ever felt comfortable to do that to? Yeah, that's a good question. Right class music, don't say your mama, but that's even in house because we know how far to go. Yeah, and that's what like what Corny is saying. Like, yeah, we used to bag on each other like a motherfucker and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's how you develop tough skin. But we knew those certain words that if you say X, Y, and Z, it's going to turn from verbal to physical. So
okay. So is that one of those times that it's supposed to get physical then when you in the bagging session and this dude says that?
Well, for George Floyd,
I'm just saying, like, look, say, it's just some niggas out hanging. They got one white boy in the cut, and then he come out and say that up in front of a whole bunch of niggas.
The first thing I think will happen, they're going to instantly turn it into some white person that lost their life, and if something even clever, then it's going to get physical. Like, I think that's kind of one of those borderline things because overall, George Floyd lost his life. He lost his life in a crazy manner,
man,
to where people can think that the officer that did that, they will think that he's probably racist. So if you're doing anything to side with that officer, they're going to look at you in the same ilk, especially if you're of that same ethnicity. So I think that George Floyd joke is kind of up there with you calling somebody dark a monkey or whatever thing that you can say to talk, like how you said before, that Flavor Flav roast was bad.
Yeah.
And the funny part about it, at the end of that, he was like, y'all can call me ugly, this and that, but I'm getting paid, boy. On stage. So it's really how you take the situation. So me personally, I think that's kind of one of those that's kind of crossing the line, like kind of watch what you say. It's the fact that he lost his life. Now, if he was in jail or something like that or whatever, it might be different. But just me personally, I think like once we start talking about people that's not here to defend themselves, that's when it becomes a real issue to where I feel like people feel like they have to defend that person's honor because they're not here to do anything about it.
That's true. That's true. And it's pushing the edge, and people are really sensitive about that because, like you said, in the manner of how he died, you know what I'm saying, and the way, like, I can't get that scene out of my head. You know what I mean? I don't think nobody can. You know what I mean?
Sitting there whistling like ain't nothing going. Like
I can't get that out of my head. So when we see things like that as Black people, and we done been through so much history in this country, when it comes to racism and them trying to hold us back and all that, like this is one of those times that hey man, hey, I know it's comedy, but man, hey, you got to tone it down a little bit. As a matter of fact, don't make no more George Floyd jokes. Don't do that no more, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because they might come after his ass. They might show up at Kill Tony showing, you know what I'm saying, taping and shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, they might Charlie Kirk him or something. You know what I mean? So
I was about to say, all it takes is one person to really be pissed off about it.
Yeah, be careful, man. Be careful. That's just like, you put that out there in the world, you know what I'm saying? You think you can say what you want and you ain't gonna get no repercussions from it. Well, some people is gonna, they gonna take it for real. So just be careful what you say and what you bring, into existence into the world by your words. Real shit.
Hey, I agree with you on that, man. What'd you say? D-Love said in-house. Okay, he's talking about them jokes. Nope, Kevin and others from our lineage should have shut it down. She laughing. Physical attributes versus brutal criticisms, in my opinion. Even not looking at slavery, look at this horrible situation. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think where the distastefulness of the joke come in is the tragic way how he lost his life.
Right.
And basically the carelessness or the recklessness. Like, the dude was on this dude's neck, just like it's just the thing to do. Like the dude was just kicking it, chilling, not paying attention to any. That's the equivalent to basically like a baby crying and you doing something horrendous and not even caring about it. So the person was in essence helpless because he was already handcuffed, arms behind his back, and then you just doing whatever you want to do to him. So yeah, let's get back to this, man. Oh shit.
He honestly feels this way. It's his right to say it. Me personally, I did not think that Tony Hinchcliffe had the best set at all. I think that Chelsea Handler, his op, had a better set than him. I think Lizzo, now hers was underrated. Now again, I wouldn't go as far as say she was better than Tony Hinchcliffe, but hers was underrated. The black guy who roasted Kevin Hart, I don't know his name. He to me had a better set than Tony Hinchcliffe. But Kevin Hart obviously has no problem with what Tony Hinchcliffe did. We now know, by the way, that like Kevin Hart and the producers actually got a chance to hear all the jokes beforehand. So Kevin Hart got a chance to hear the Tony Hinchcliffe George Floyd joke, and he approved it, right? He had no problem with it being in there. Now, if Kevin Hart would have came and stood on business, but he flip-flopped too much for me during his interview. Started off with, man, Tony Hinchcliffe had the best set is comedy, get over it, to why y'all blaming me? I don't like it either. I think it's BS. I think it's He even say, he called like Steven Jackson, which is like George Floyd homie and really close to George Floyd family, right after the set before it even went public, to apologize to Steven Jackson, say, hey, bro, man, listen, man, it was a roast. It got out of hand, bro. I couldn't do nothing. So if you didn't feel this was a problem, then why did you call Steven Jackson immediately afterwards, right? And the most annoying part of it all is Kevin Hart acting like he had no power whatsoever, that he was powerless, and he couldn't have done anything to rectify this situation.
Video
Corny, I think you
understand the software that color grades for you. So
tell those jokes? No. But do I get why they're being told? Mm-hmm. Yes. Like, I'm not looking at peak.
So you got anything to say about what he just said?
Yeah, I had something, man. What was that? He was just saying, the part where they're blaming. Now I see why they saying they blaming Kevin Hart now. You know what I'm saying? Because he approved of the joke. He heard it beforehand. He proved it a joke. It got aired live. And, okay. I can see why you're blaming him now. I can understand that part.
Now you're hitting up Steven Jackson. Hey, bro, things kind of got out of hand. You already knew it was going to get out of hand. You just saying that at the end because you want to jump in front of it before it looks all bad for you.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying a little bit earlier. Like, all that stuff is approved. The reason why that Kanye West line about the George Bush shit was so crazy because that was off the script. That wasn't on the teleprompter what everybody was reading. So
right.
When they come with these roasts and stuff, they already pre-approved what's good to say, what's not good to say. So all that deflection of I didn't know what was going on, that's BS. So I can see why, people. I don't think people knew that he called Steven Jackson before, but it's just the fact that when it came out, and to be honest with you, Kevin Hart could have changed the narrative, but he doubled down on it. So that's what people are really pissed about.
Right. And I get why they mad at him now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess he really just felt like, okay, we need some, this is edgy. I know it's edgy. Let me just go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? I guess to get that shock value too. I mean, but if he would have just said, nah, man, the joke would have never came out, would we still be talking about this though?
No.
You don't think so? There was some other racial jokes out there.
They're not talking about it.
No, that's the only joke they're talking about.
I was about to say the only other thing, and that's funny. It's funny how the Cat Williams situation, that was something that was hitting the headlines for a while, and then all of a sudden people started. Well, they were talking about the George Floyd thing a little bit at the same time, but the Cat Williams kind of overtook the other conversation. But now, since the shock value of the Cat Williams stuff died down, this George Floyd stuff is still up there because it's being unresolved. And on top of that, Kevin Hart went on a public platform talking about it, and basically in the public eye wasn't sympathetic of what was being said. So basically,
right.
In essence, he gave the people that were feeling pissed off about it a big FU, because he said, hey man, you know, it's comedy. It's what you want me to do? But if you had the opportunity to stop the joke, then basically they're saying you're just as bad as the person that.
Yeah, I get it now. I see why they. I get it.
D Love said, "Lion bloated tether doesn't represent us." Flacco, Lord have mercy. Was it really that hard to go other places, other George Floyd? Wait,
really
that hard to go other places other than, what, like talk about other topics other than George Floyd?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
hey,
it wasn't
it's so
like
much
you said, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary, bro. You know what I mean? Could have been other things you could have roasted them, or you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. That was unnecessary.
And the thing that's kind of more insult to injury is that the fact that you done this joke before, and I'm pretty sure people wasn't, oh, that was funny. You probably got the same response of, oh shit, like why you said that, you know?
Yeah.
And to carry on with what D Love said, yeah, if you're constantly doing that, you're really trying to incite, gaslight, antagonize a reaction and a response. And on top of this, I really hate to put that in there, but just with the fact of how everything is going on politically with Donald Trump and everything, people already feel like that there's a racial aspect of everything that's going on. So that makes things even more amplified, you know. So personally, you know, I don't think that that's the best thing to do, but I see why they did that, because this is what that happened last week or so, and people still talking about it. It's so happening every day to where for us to still talk about something that somebody passed a couple years ago that's still prevalent to this day, you know, that says something about it. And I think the people that saw the jokes and approved it, they knew exactly what they was doing. That I know that they take that into consideration at the time of days that we are in today. They're looking at, oh yeah, say that because all this other stuff is going on. So of course that's going to get the right reaction to where people are going to be tripping about it. So you know, all that stuff is orchestrated.
Yeah, controlling the narrative.
Yeah, hey, and this is right. D Love said what happened to George Floyd affected the world globally. Yeah, you have people in Europe rioting, protesting. Definitely people out here. So basically all over the world. And that was crazy to see the reaction of what happened in what was Wisconsin or Waukesha, Milwaukee or something, wherever it was, for that incident to happen. It was just the perfect event, because we had that virus going around and everybody was locked down to where they had time to check it out. Normally, if people was going to their job 9 to 5 working, that'd have been something that happened and they would have came and went. Hey, I got bills to pay. But since people had time today, cuz they was showing up and showing out on it. So yeah, D Love's right. That did affect the world globally. It had people tearing down statues of, you know, all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, because they're trying to get us in these streets. She's saying, right, Klasic, Minneapolis, Minnesota, my city. Oh shit. What?
Okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, it be going down over there for sure.
Yeah, they've been in the news a lot lately. So
man, if I'm not mistaken, that's like, I wouldn't say that's the birth of where the Kia boys are at, but I know them Kia boys is active out there, like stealing them cars and stuff. Man,
crazy. I'm not looking at Tony crazy. Like, that's what I know what you're going to do. I know your style of comedy.
Did you see the interview that I did with Terrence Floyd, George Floyd's brother?
No.
So he said,
no shot to you.
No, he expected you to kind of be the person that would like stop it right in the moment or just not allow for certain things to happen.
And he also said he wanted you to come harder. He said if they're going to joke, why you ain't come harder with your own jokes?
All right,
racist jokes, I guess.
This is actually a good thing to give a rebuttal to.
See, then
they talked about my dead mom and my dead dad. Said that they were running a train on my mom.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
that was crazy. Yeah, that was Regina did that.
Right?
Yeah, oh, wait, that's right. You probably should say
the jokes about Kevin was on a slave ship in a bottle with like the ship in the bottle. Like, I'm going to appreciate humor. I don't get affected by the attempt of humor. I get it, right?
That's funny.
In this case, like, do more. It's my production. We're live. The more is what? Like, what is it that you expect me? You want me to take a live production and stand up and fight Tony or have a reaction? Like, Tony told a joke. It wasn't a tasteful joke to us. We didn't like it. Okay. Hey, man, that joke. We move on. I don't understand why we stand on a hill and it becomes like this big thing of like, oh, man, they do this and they're attacking the culture.
Move on.
It doesn't have to be that. It literally is either you're a fan of this level of content or you're not.
Oh, shit.
And if you're not a fan, then you don't watch it. So
Kevin Hart was not helpless, right? Even if Kevin Hart is saying, we're going to stand up and stop it. Okay, cool, right? That's too much, right? You had a mic. You had your time to come on afterwards. You had the last words on the show. You couldn't use your voice as a comedian to counter the hate. You couldn't go at Tony Hinchcliffe on the mic. If these people are getting every opportunity to verbally abuse us and be nasty towards us and put hate towards our way, then why can't one of us take that mic and go at him and go at Tony Hinchcliffe and go at Shane Gillis and speak up for us? Cheryl Underwood attempted to do so, but she's a woman at the end of the day, man, right? Like, as a comedian, she probably ain't on the level of a Kevin Hart. So if we look at you as one of us, yo, why you ain't hit that mic and go to war for us? It don't gotta be hostile or no, you could have just went at him how he went at us. We didn't see you do it at all. Now, when Kevin Hart gives this new standard for how we should operate in life, right?
Yeah, man, this is one of those, as Back on Fig would say, one of them wobblers.
For real, huh?
If you don't like it, don't watch it and ignore it. Imagine if we had that standard for everything in life. You know, Chud the Builder? Chud is going around calling random black people the N-word and victimizing them in person. If the standard was, why critique something you don't like? Just don't watch it. So black folks should have been quiet.
Man, I'm gonna cut that one short. Hey, you talk about Chud the Builder. They had some Chud the Builder copycat.
I said that. I said it was gonna happen.
F around and found out.
He sure did. He found out. He found out everything. He sure did. And it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more. I thought I seen another guy too, man. Huh.
Yeah, to be honest with you, there's probably been multiple people. I'll say probably 2 or 3, but there was.
Hey, good luck to you guys.
Huh?
I said good luck to you guys.
Oh no, yeah, you know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you messing around with the wrong person, you're not handling it in the same way. You're not gonna get the same results and the same outcome. Right. And you know what? To be honest with you, it's sorry that fool ended up losing his life doing some stupid shit. He could still be here today, but he wanted to do some dumb shit, and he found out and he fucked around with the wrong person. Now,
yeah, well,
you know, that's what happened. The Darwin Awards. You do stupid shit, you get stupid results.
Right.
You know, so it's unfortunate that's one of the reasons why I believe that what Chud the Builder was doing was dangerous, because when you have copycats doing the same thing, you're not going to get as lucky as the 6ix9ine, I'm about to go to your hood, record for 5 seconds, and then bounce. You get some copycats doing that, they're going to catch the wrong person that's actually out there. You're going to be stuck in a situation where you're going to be on the news.
Yep.
So,
and that's happened before.
Yeah, like, man, it was the dude that was out here.
Yep.
Talking about you from the takeovers, going to the projects, spitting on everybody, signs and all that. It's a takeover. Fuck your hood. Fuck your hood. He ended up getting unalive. You got Indian Red Boy associated with his homeboy from wherever they was from. I don't even think they was from Inglewood families or whatever, but his homeboy Capone writing on Nipsey Hussle mural. Next thing you know, he ended up getting popped in Gardena. So it gets real when you out in the streets. And as I said before, the streets don't really have no rules. So please, like, it's nothing to glorify. Don't be out there. Like, if you have family, if you have your own family, it isn't nothing to be out there glorifying. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, just nuts said. The streets, it don't have nothing for you. The things that you think that's supportive of you, they'll crumble and turn their back on you in a split second, like that.
For real.
So, yeah, man. Yeah, we done heard enough about that whole situation, man. You want to close that one out, and you want to go to this Dr. Bryant situation, bro?
I guess I can close this out. Hey, the man Kevin Hart was honored by the roast. I get why everybody's mad at him now, because he approved of that joke. He heard the joke prior to, it was said live, and he approved of the joke, and he shouldn't have never approved it. He shouldn't have never approved it. That way we wouldn't be talking about this right now. You know what I mean? We'd probably be talking about some other joke that Tony Hinchcliffe did. You know what I mean? Tell you the truth, because somebody's got to say something about something. You know what I mean? People out there are sensitive. It's comedy. It's subjective. It's supposed to be like that. They get paid to say things that you and I can't when we're at work. So just enjoy the comedy. Develop some thick skin. Laugh at yourself sometime. It's okay to do that, people. You know what I mean? Like, damn. But, I can say it was very distasteful with the joke that he was saying, Tony had said about George Floyd. It was very distasteful. Find something else to talk about. You don't always have to go to the shock value of all of this, man. Just, keep your style. But, hey, don't just go that far. Don't, you're going to wind up getting a bump on your head. You know what I'm saying? So be cool, Tony. Chill out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I agree on what you were saying. It definitely was distasteful. There were a myriad of other things that you could have discussed, but why go for the low-hanging fruit of somebody that passed away? I also agree, you're right, it's comedy. People should develop tough skin, but on the same note of that, if you say whatever that you say, just be ready for whatever consequences that come with it, and don't say that people
absolutely
are going too far with it. It's the same way somebody spit on somebody and then you end up unaliving them. You can't tell them how to react to whatever disrespect that you put out there. So the same thing with you disrespecting George Floyd and his family, because you're not just disrespecting him. Be ready for whatever consequence that will come your way. Karma and life have a funny way of making you eat your own words and have you revisit some of the things that you choose to bury.
So true.
So, hey, be safe out there. It's a cold world, man.
Yeah, it is.
Real talk. Now we on to this doctor, man. This video is like 10 minutes, so we're not gonna have y'all all night. We're gonna do our commentary on this and keep it pushing. Now, Dr. Bryant, this is old clip that resurfaced, man. A lot of people are questioning, like, what the hell do? She says she a doctor. I don't know if it's the doctor, but who knows? So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into Fawcett Media. It says Dr. Bryant completely crashes out on Torrey. Now, Torrey, I don't really like to fool my damn self, but hey, at the end of the day, a broken clock could be right 2 times out the day. So I don't agree with the clip that I saw. And I think it says a lot about her character. So let's get into it, man.
First of all, Teray, first of all, Teray,
why don't you let me wrap the show? I'm ending the show. What is the point of interrupting me? We're getting out of here. Like, what is the point? What is the point? It says go to
voice when you're talking to me. Lower your voice when you're talking to me.
Damn.
You're acting very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. And this is the problem.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we've already went over Cheyenne Bryant's credentials or lack thereof in previous videos. So I won't spend time re-explaining that. What I want to talk about today is how this clip was suspiciously uploaded on the Truth Talks Live page the other day. There was a show that Cheyenne was on with Torrey and Frank Ski and Ariva Martin, where they had kind of a panel online show. I think it started on Fox Soul. They haven't had any like new episodes, but they seem to be cloud chasing off of everything that Cheyenne Bryant does, including her podcast interviews. But in this one, Cheyenne Bryant crashes out on former MTV journalist Torrey. And shout out to Torrey. I was actually featured in Torrey's latest video, actually talking about Cheyenne Bryant, about why she's not a doctor.
That's where Cheyenne is. Appearing to be lying about something like this is better than being unmasked as not a doctor.
Why you sound like that dude? Nardwick.
She has only financial aid documents showing she paid for a doctoral program. And if you listen carefully, the word doctoral in this conversation becomes a sticking point because she can't even pronounce the word. She pronounces it doctoral.
I paid for a doctoral program.
One would say that if you can't even pronounce the word, who is going to believe that you actually have completed a doctoral program?
I paid for a doctoral program.
Let me tell you my Cheyenne story. For several months last year, we did a 4-person talk show where she and I were the lead voices. I tried to get clips of it, but the third party that holds the records only holds on to old videos for 2 years. So,
but what we're about to witness here is what happens when the psychology expert breaks down and you actually see what's really going on underneath.
And this is how life works. And successful people, not just only externally, but internally, what they do carry at the nucleus of who they are is discipline and boundaries.
If gentle parenting creates gentle children, sign me up. I definitely want to create more gentle adults, especially men. Hold on, everybody, especially men.
You are
My God, are you kidding?
very, very.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. That's what we need in the world is more gentle men who understand.
You're very gentle, and it comes at an angle that doesn't always work for people.
Let's just stop and go back.
Is this who you want to get your life coaching from?
Because I'm wrapping the show and you're interrupting me.
First of all,
this is what we spent a whole meeting on this.
First of all, Teray, first of all, Teray.
Why don't you let me wrap the show? I'm ending the show. What is the point of interrupting me? We're getting out of here. Like, what is the point? What is the point? It says go to host
voice when you're talking to me. Lower your fucking voice when you're talking to me
because
you're acting very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. And this is the problem. Teray, you talk to your wife like that. You don't talk to me like that. I am not your wife. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your wife, gentle. I'm not your wife, softy. Don't talk to me like that. You talk to your wife like that, not me. Teray, talk to your wife like that. Do not talk to me like that. That is not how you finish. That is not how you professionally approach me. Don't fucking talk to me like that. Check.
Frank and Ariva, I apologize.
Whoa.
Check yourself. You don't talk to me like that.
What did he say?
Doc, hold on.
Shut the fuck up talking to me like that. That's what you do.
Shit. I ain't never heard a doctor say shut the fuck up, but
me neither.
Okay. And another thing, how come whoever was the host of this show, it looked like the executive producer pulled up, but how come they muted Torrey and he was the one getting scolded and she was able to cuss him out, with no problem and no accountability? Like, I think that's very telling to her whole doctoral degree and everything. Like, it seemed like I'm not gonna lie, in her personal life, I think she might like the same sex. Nothing's wrong with that. I like women too. So, it is what it is. But, I think that's one of the reasons why that she's so quick to emasculate men, because as what she was saying, they softy and you talk to your wife like that. You don't talk to me like this. Shut the fuck up and all that other stuff. She's really crossing the line, bro.
Yeah. And I don't see why she got so upset in the first place. I don't think he was raising his voice at her.
He cut her off when he had the floor to speak.
Right. And he was
for interrupting.
He was just trying to make his point. That's all. And for her to be doctoral, whatever, she said she got a doctoral program. Doctors, where do you go get a program to become a doctor? What the hell? You gotta go study for that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shut your ass up.
Man, part of her whole story, she was saying like, oh yeah, the college that I went to, it was in a fire, and then all the files got destroyed. Typical bullshit from somebody that's lying.
Whoa.
A lot of red flags.
Okay, you said she was on Basketball Wives. Was she a doctor then?
Hey, chat, look, if she was, comment that in the chat. But to be honest with you, I think she was kind of on her journey of being like some like therapist and all that stuff. I don't know if she was holding the doctor title then, but to be honest with you, if I'm not mistaken, she probably was. Like, it wasn't that long ago. You feel me?
And
prima donna, anyone? Huh?
She was very unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you rebuttal a conversation. You know what I'm saying? You handle that with dignity. You don't call people out of their names. You don't curse at them. The moment she was the first person to curse, and the moment you curse and call someone out of their name, that intensifies the argument. You know what I mean? I guess that's why they probably cut Torrey off, because he probably was gonna come back and say some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Because,
check this out, bitch.
Because when you think about it, man, I mean, she went there, dude. She was the first one to start cussing. She the one calling him out of his name. She's being very unprofessional. Ain't no doctor gonna be acting like that, especially a therapist. If you're a therapist, come on, it's the way you talk to people. You know what I'm saying? You should know that from your doctoral program. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't get it. I don't see nothing. That's not no doctor acting. Doctors don't act like that, man. Period. They don't act like that.
And this is kind of like another way how she was acting on the other show when she was addressing her whole degree and everything. Because like I said before, she was saying, I don't have to show a mother effing thing, and y'all don't have to F this and F that. Very flagrant with their mouth. And to be honest with you, if she really did have a doctorate degree, you wouldn't have to. If people was asking me, hey, did you have a YouTube channel? I'm not gonna say, mother effer, you should be checking it. I got one in X, Y, and Z. This is where you can check it out. But when somebody is lying about something, of course they're going to try to shame Kevin Samuels once again. What's that? The shame, guilt, the need to be right. I forgot how he said it, but all those things happen when you deal with not all women, but a particular type of woman, and especially or just somebody that's lying. They're going to try to make you think that whatever you're saying is totally wrong. And in actuality, she's the one that's in the wrong. D-Lo said, who's taking life coaching when everybody experience is different? To be honest with you, the people that see that you live in this abundance lifestyle, people want to, jump onto that. And That's why social media, everybody show their highlights. So if they're trying to sell you some type of course, then hey, pay me $500 per session and you can be rich just like me. It's a lot of people that's trying to figure it out. So you never and that's why I forgot who I was telling this. There's so many different lanes out there. You just need to find your niche, what you're good at, and you could be making money. It's 2026, the internet is out there. You can become a millionaire from home. So, it's certain people out there that will want life coaching experiences, but I wouldn't want it from her, especially seeing how she talked to that dude.
Yeah, and another thing too, man, her talking like that, she was on the defense. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk like that, you being defensive like that, that shows the guilt. You know what I'm saying? You can see it right there from the way that you're talking, and you don't have no true credit on, or you said that everything burnt up. Go get that from where you got it from. Go get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they got that on file, that you graduated from a program, a 2-year program or something like that. It's probably how long it took you, because it's a program. It's not even a real. Come on, man. This ain't real, man.
Fugazi.
It sounds like she got scammed. Tell you the truth.
Man.
Yo.
Hey, for real though. Hey, Brian said talking over her got her riled up. And the reason why he was talking over her, he was trying to shut that shit down. Apparently, they had a history of her constantly talking over him to where he got fed up.
Yeah.
D-Love said he didn't say anything. She was ready for verbal combat is all, in my opinion. And then she also said, but she cut him off. Yeah, she did. If she had the floor, he didn't cut her off, in my opinion, respectfully. Brian said they both need to read Robert Rule of Order. Her Lego school got burnt down with her Etch-a-Sketch record. Damn! Brian's crazy. Brian also said everyone wants to be a doctor but have no patience. Hey, that's some stuff, man. Shake your head, follow the leader. Yeah, 99% of these so-called gurus are fake. Hey, that's a whole nother topic. A lot of these gurus are fake. D-Love said yes, corn dog. Stuff ain't burning down like 1950. It's backed up somewhere. I'm disappointed in her now. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, she look good as hell, but ain't nobody gonna be dealing with that attitude. That's why she's single now. And it's funny how she was giving all this relationship advice, and people they started pointing the camera back on her, like, "Hey, so where's your relationship at?" But it's where her doctoring degree is at.
And how beautiful is that? How beautiful is your relationship,
man? If
like you have you got all the answers. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
No.
That's what you do.
Good.
You better tap into your gentleness and real quick.
I think she's in the ladies also.
Are we ready?
I've been ready. Been ready.
Ariba, Frank, you guys ready?
Yep.
You ready, Tori, to wrap this up?
Yes, as I was doing.
And then we'll speak off camera. Here we go.
Hey, you said he sound like Narwhal?
Yeah.
We always ask, when should a parent be held responsible for their children's behavior, whether it's at school, tantrum in Walmart, whatever. Let's look
like the black version of him.
The parent mourning a child lost to violence and the one silently praying because their child pulled the trigger. To continue to see the show and support Black media, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Truth Talk /live, where you can catch us every night at 8 p.m. EST and at 11 p.m. EST. Support Black media at Cash App's Truth Talks Live or on any of the links on your screen. Get your Truth Talks membership today. Click here on the screen and you can choose from 3 different exciting tiers. Black media is under attack and this show is being shadow banned. So support us by telling a friend to tell a friend to check us out every night at 8 p.m. See you next time on our channel.
Good night, y'all.
But let's talk about how this happened, because the female relationship space didn't just want a commentator. They wanted a secret weapon, someone with a title who could be taken seriously, whether the title was real or not, who could sit on camera and tell millions of women that wealthy Black entertainers are emotionally broken, that they build broken homes, that they're the reason that all these relationships are failing. That narrative needed a voice to feel like they were analyzing things instead of just airing their grievances. Cheyenne Bryant was that voice. And this Touré clip is where the mask came off. So what actually happened here? Touré is not known for his crazy outbursts. He makes a comment about wanting more gentle men in the world, whether you agree or disagree with that. But his voice is measured, professional. He's not being aggressive. He's not really even being dismissive, but he just wants to wrap the show and get out of there, right? He's done with this, right?
Gentle parenting creates gentle children. Sign me up. I definitely want to create more gentle adults.
But the alleged doctor will not let him move on past that.
My God, are you kidding? Hold on, guys. That's what we need in the world is more gentle men who understand.
You're very gentle, and it comes at an angle that doesn't always work for people.
She tells him to lower his voice that wasn't raised at that point. She calls him soft. She calls him feminine.
Because you're acting very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine.
She starts talking about his wife.
I am not your wife. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your wife, gentle. I'm not your wife, softy. Don't talk to me like that.
What does his wife have to do with any of this situation, right? She's just trying to insult Touré. You don't talk to me like that. Play that back and think about what's actually being said. You know, the calm demeanor of Touré, you know, is exactly what a lot of women tell men they're looking for, right? They want somebody that can be calm and understanding and speak to them in a way to try to get through to them. But now that in Cheyenne's mind, that's weakness. And she's throwing it back in his face. He's better than me because I would have checked the shit out of her ass. I don't play those type of games. You can't allow yourself to be disrespected in that way. And then she wants to do it on TV too. Now I really got to teach you a lesson. You know, that's how she thinks about men.
Turn that shit around.
Because you're acting very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. And this is the problem. Touré, you talk to your wife like that. You don't talk to me like that. I am not your wife. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your wife, gentle. I'm not your wife, softy.
This is exactly what she does to the men she analyzes on these podcasts. Her alleged sessions that she's had, which look like podcast interviews to everybody else that has half a brain cell. But she applied that to Touré, who was trying to reason with her, trying to tell her something professional that she should have known. I'm trying to wrap the show. But when she talks about emotionally unavailable men or men who can't communicate, what she's describing by her own behavior in this clip is men who don't communicate on her terms.
But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior to say that I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home in them. I'm going to wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody. And then I'm going to build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses.
Instead of telling you about how
Yeah. Hey, so what's your thoughts about the whole aspect of what Touré was saying, that there need to be more gentle parenting?
I guess they mean like don't be so aggressive when you're parenting. Like, you know, I've always been an aggressive parent. My parenting skills are aggressive, meaning I'm pretty much like a drill sergeant. You know what I mean? So, gentle, that's something I can't be when it, you know, come to my kids, because You give a kid an inch and they gonna run 3 miles on your ass. So, you know, that gentle shit don't play with me, man. It's not with my kids. They, my kids, we used to have a game, right? I used to tell them, if I see you do something, I'm gonna flip the slipper up in the air. You're gonna see it go in the air. I'm gonna catch it. When I catch it, don't let me hit you in the head with it. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, man. My kids, you're not gonna do that. And with these kids today, you have to be aggressive with these kids. You can't be gentle on these kids. These kids are going out here doing crimes that adults are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So if you would be gentle with them like that, they're gonna feel as if, I could do anything I want with no repercussions. I could do what I want. That's what it is. Not with my kids. We know you're gonna learn about these repercussions. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna learn that when you touch a hot stove, it's hot. That's why you don't touch it. You know what I'm saying? So being all a gentle parent, nah, I don't agree with that. Now, when he said gentleman, I get what he meant by that. You know what I'm saying? He's a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't cuss at women like that, or he didn't turn back and talk to her like how she was talking to him. He was being a gentleman. You know what I mean? So I get that part. And she's like, "Oh, you're soft." You know what I'm saying? That's not soft. He's respecting you, and you don't even see that. You know what I mean? Like, you blind to the fact that he's a true gentleman, and he's not treating you like how you treating him. So when you say that he's soft and he was to come back at you just as hard as you's coming at him, would you change your opinion about him? You're probably gonna find out something else, think of something else to say about him, just because he's mad now at that point. You know what I'm saying? It was like she was really trying to, just bite at him, like, let me see if he do something if I say this. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women do that, man, because whenever you have a problem with, like, say you dating with some chick maybe about 3 months or something, you know what I'm saying? And things going good, and then all of a sudden you guys finally get into an argument, and then she says the worst things. The first thing they go, your dick little, you're gay, some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Some crazy shit. They always go for that shit right there. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, I think Torre was in the right there, dude. Like, it was showing that he was a gentleman, and he was trying to explain that to her, but she didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and usually when a woman is like at that point right there, that's when I don't want to hear it. I'm walking away from the conversation. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? You can talk to yourself now. You know what I mean? I'm gone. I don't want to hear none of that. That's now you trying to destroy my joy now. You know what I'm saying? So, nah. She ain't no doctor. That's my point.
Hey,
she ain't no doctor.
And to go with what you're saying, it's apparent two of the things it's obvious. One, she didn't find him attractive, and two, she didn't respect him, because I do believe, like you said, with him doing the right thing, trying to be a gentleman, because if he would have showed that other side, if he would have really bossed up on her, then that would have been a problem. Oh, see, you crazy. You just like this, and that. So in that situation, he was basically in a lose-lose. No matter if he was being gentle with her, it was an issue. If you'd have been controlling with her and directed her to do what he needed her to do, then that would have been an issue. So overall, the only way that you wouldn't have a problem with that is if she found you somewhat attractive, or she respected what you did. And a lot of these chicks only respect money. So if you was just balling out of control, or where you could have multiple women, then that would have been something that should have been more put into place. But that whole interaction said a whole lot about what she think about men, how she handled them. And I don't think it's necessarily just him. And to go back on the gentle parent thing, I don't have any kids or whatever, but I don't agree with the gentle parenting because I believe that's one of the reasons why the kids are walking around soft nowadays. The only thing that I think is that should be different a little bit. I think these parents nowadays should actually, take more time explaining certain things to their children because, I'm basically from the generation of, hey, you do what I tell you to do. You don't ask no damn questions about it. But I believe if you kind of not scold them or lecture them, but if you let them know the reason why I'm telling you this because X, Y, and Z. A lot of our parents didn't have time to explain that, but maybe if you took the time to explain that to your children, they might know the significance of how bad that they're messing up, other than just, oh, the stove is hot, So that's the only thing that I think that should be implemented that's different from the older generation to the new generation. But all this, I don't believe in whoopings and they just do timeouts and shit like that. No, that's how you get them badass kids, like you said, they be committing real adult type crimes.
Right.
They down there be acting like their homeboy, homegirl with their parents and shit. Like, so there have to be a level of respect when you're parenting. I don't think everything should be whooping, but there's a time and a place for that, And then there's a time where you got to sit down and tell them, game them up with certain things of why you're not doing this, why you should be doing that, the importance of whatever it is. So, that's why I was shaking my head earlier when he was talking about that gentle parent stuff, because I don't agree with that. And then just with her in general, she's not no doctor, because what type of doctor act the way that she acts?
Right. Very unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't think nobody should be taking no life lessons from her.
Hell no.
Especially if she ain't got her own, man.
And
the hell?
Hey, what they say, they be saying single people be keeping other people single.
Right.
They be giving you the same broke ass advice that they be taking that got them nowhere. So, D Love said, be gentle with your lady. It handled the world. And Corny did speak on that. I think because I just picked up on the gentle parenting thing, but he also was saying being a gentle man. And to be honest with you, the crazy part about it, some will look at him as soft for not cussing her out and stuff like that. They'll look at him like a punk, but to be honest with you, it takes a lot of restraint, a lot of maturity not to stoop to the level of what others do. So, hats off to him because, hey, you trying to embarrass me on this public platform, bitch. Who the fuck you talking to, ho?
And he made himself look like the bigger person right there too, bro.
Hey, and that comes from maturity. And this dude's not proclaiming to be no doctor or nothing. That's one of the things as far as being a man. You definitely have to have decorum and not be emotional. That's something like you was talking about earlier. Instead of emotionally responding, he mentally responded, and that took him. He processed that whole shit pretty quick, because it could have went left to where it had been a barking match like a motherfucker. But even with him being muted, it didn't seem like he was going off at the mouth, So, I don't agree with the soft parenting, but I agree how he handled that situation. And sometimes, being a gentleman, that's why certain people certain men act like dogs, because it's damn near damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you put your jacket over a pole for this chick, she gonna be going for the next dude that got a clean jacket. So it's like dating in this era is kind of crazy, man. D Love also said she degraded her brother. We don't do that. See, that's why I like D Love, man. D Love, she
right.
Man. You know what I'm saying? But I need you to handle the world, be soft with me though. Exactly. Brian said he being calm was just as bad as telling her to calm down. Damn. You can't research with crazy. No. Gentle makes them mental, and aggressive makes them progressive. Sheesh, this nigga Brian turning into a rapper, damn it. Like
cooking tonight.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, when you gentle, yeah. Aggressive, progress, man. Hey, I like that bar for sure.
Yeah.
D-Love says, no, back to natural order, man runs. It ladies is submissive and kids render is he led by God? There's nothing to fear. Hey, basically she's talking about the principle order of how things normally is, and that's real talk though. And that's the problem. We kind of got away from that, and so many organizations like Black Lives Matter on their mission statement, they was talking about we're here to uproot the traditional family unit, meaning that it isn't supposed to be man and woman. It's supposed to be, it could be girl and guy. That's a whole nother topic, but yeah,
which is not traditional.
Exactly, and that's the stuff that's being pushed, and it's being camouflaged into these different organizations to where you think that they actually care about us, but they don't, and they put it in plain writing, but people don't read that. D-Love says, what I don't like about that was he was respectful and she was brash to make him look soft. And who do that? An evil person. She knew the platform where she was on, and she knew the leverage of what she was. The crazy part about it is she can act bad like that, and it will still be people. You saw how the man got cut off. He couldn't say nothing, but she was able to say, "Oh, your mother this and this and that." And then the executive producer, which was another woman, another black woman, she didn't say anything. Oh, okay. Are you done? All right. Okay. I'm gonna talk to y'all. I'll talk to you after everything is done. So, some people like to see men get emasculated because the position that we had in society for so long, people get mad at that. If you love someone truly, those thoughts don't come to your mind or cross your mouth, in my opinion. Yeah, she's talking about what you're saying, like, you have your first blow-up conversation, then it goes to scorched earth about, just all the bad things said about you. D-Love said, no, she's not a doctor. Brian said, maybe her favorite toy ran out of batteries before the show. This dude is stupid. Hey, for real though. D-Love said he don't feel no need to get back up on her. That's not in him. He saw for the broken lady she is. Yeah, and sometimes it ain't worth arguing. It's like, yeah, I know exactly where you about. I'm not going to give you that energy. Why strike when someone is already broken? Hey, that's real talk though. Brian said, when I was a kid, me and the basement were best buds. Damn. D-Love, that's a fact. Classic. Right, classic. Brian said, I'm curious to how that convo after the show went. Man, I don't think it went anyway like how it was on show. D-Love, I know, right, Brian, the philosopher. That's funny. D-Love, you never understand. No circumstance supposed to make our men look soft before anything because he is our head lead. Yeah, some people don't look at it like that though. So that's the crazy part about it. We look extra weak when that happens. Hey, that's real talk. D-Love, yeah, for sure. And then Brian, yeah, hey man. That shit is funny. I don't know what happened to with Corny, but shit. Let's finish up this video real quick.
Let's say we want a bee explaining the law of gravity, and boom, in 1 second you have everything.
So in Cheyenne's mind, Torre is a soft target. The same way she attacked Cam Newton and Nick Cannon because their demeanor didn't give any real pushback to the narrative that she had running prior to interviewing with them. Somehow that they're bad fathers just because they're wealthy and they have a lot of children with different women. But here's the part that matters most. She's supposed to be the mental health professional in the room, the person that's an example of what emotional regulation is supposed to look like.
Shut the fuck up talking to me like that. That's what you do. That's what you do.
A licensed therapist aren't just held to a standard because of ethics boards. They're held to it because dysregulated behavior from someone in a position of psychological authority causes real harm to the people around them. It destabilizes them. And that's why her operating out here without a license doesn't hold her to those same standards. So she can maneuver how she wants to. And when you have a platform of her size and people give you constant exposure, she's spreading bad habits like these to her audience. This woman is a problem. This woman is a menace. And she's out here doing stuff like this. It's embarrassing. She doesn't really understand how embarrassing it is. Because she also had a similar outburst on Basketball Wives, which someone was asking the other day, what type of professional woman is seeking to be on Basketball Wives? It seemed like she was very excited to be there and have her little moment. And she was using her relationships, which is a whole nother issue that probably goes into what personality disorder she's suffering from. But she's using her influence and her relationship with like Jackie Christie to get on the Basketball Wives. This is Basketball Wives behavior. Franksky and Areva Martin are like, this is total garbage. And I know they're regretting even signing up to be a part of that show when a person like Cheyenne is behaving in this way. But you know what? Her audience deserves better. They deserve someone who can actually model what they actually are preaching. Someone whose framework doesn't collapse at the slightest discomfort, resulting in a temper tantrum the second a coworker disagreed with them on camera. Totally unprofessional. And as someone in the entertainment business, this would be a fireable offense if she wasn't needed in this situation. The unfortunate part about this is the show probably was struggling. I don't know if they were even paying them people to be there. I guess Teray was probably getting some money some kind of way. It seems like this is just for the exposure at this point. But anyway, man, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like.
Yeah, salute to Fawcett Media, man. It's unfortunate. D-Love said, I'm so disappointed in her. You know, it is what it is. I'm not going to lie. Like I said before, I think she looked fine. The crazy part about it, I looked it up. It said that she's 43. She looked low-key kind of older than 43. But, you know, because the first thing, the crazy part about it, the first thing people going to say, oh, you must like men whenever you try to correct a female about, you know, her ill behavior. And it sucks like that, man, because we do be having some of the baddest looking women, but then when we get to their personalities and attitudes and stuff, it's like, yeah, I'm cool. It's like I'm cool on the headache. Like nobody wants to deal with no headache, you know. So
yeah, because you're gonna be fighting all the time. You can see just from the attitude that you already know that this is gonna be a war. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna say something that I know that she's gonna say something that I don't like. You know what I mean?
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, you just know that she's gonna say something out of pocket, and you don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself in a trick bag. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You got to think, man.
And I think that's what like Torrey was dealing with. Like, he's like, you know, I'm tired of this motherfucker. Every time I got something to say, you fucking cutting me off. Hey. And then she wasn't trying to have that. You know,
man, that's irritating, man.
And the thing that make it worse is the fact that, like I said, she looks good. So there's going to be some type of simp that's going to be willing to take whatever verbal abuse that she got spewing out her mouth. And that just make it worse for anybody else that come in line afterwards. Brian said, crazy make you age faster. I ain't gonna lie, yeah. Yeah, all that stress and all that shit, man. It's just, it's crazy, man. D-Love laughing. Yeah, man. We don't have to go all day about this. Just give me your final thoughts about this, bro.
Final thoughts on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. First of all, you ain't no doctor. You ain't never been no doctor. You ain't gonna be no doctor. That program you got, the doctoral program, that's all false. You know it's false. You know you've been scammed, And now you out here scamming other people, talking about you a life lessons coach. And let me show you how to keep your relationship tight and all that. These are all the answers to keep your relationship tight. I might not got a man, but I'm going to teach you how to have one and keep one. Man, shut your ass up. Nobody want to hear that shit. You out here selling all these false narratives, and you a whole complete falsified woman. You know what I'm saying? Your attitude is probably why you ain't got a man. And you ain't got the qualifications to be out here giving people advice on that. Shut your ass up. Period. That's it.
Yeah, that's real talk, man. I definitely don't believe that she's a doctor. It's crazy that we have a lot of these scammers in our community that's using these titles. And then when you get up on them about it, then they want to cuss you out and say that you some sellout, but they're really the sellout because they're just doing a disservice for our community, you know. So it's very unfortunate that this lady got all this stuff going on, but she really brought it on herself. Now, Brian said women are like scenario, women
like
are
scenery.
Like
scenery.
Yeah, women like scenery. Looks beautiful from afar, but get too close and you start to see the cracks. Yeah, you know, if I was if I was his wife, I would have popped up like what you got going on. Hey, that's real tough. Hey, D-Love don't play, man. He's a doctor like Jermaine from Philly, aka Umar. Damn. I said it earlier. I think Dr. Umar, he might have his doctorate and all that stuff, but what he's doing with it, I think that's where the issue comes with it. You know, D-Love says, say that OG corn dog. Brian says somebody called Pickle Rick on her. Who the hell is Pickle Rick?
Rick and Morty.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
Rick turned himself into a pickle one day.
Oh, man. D-Love said, if we could view each other as individuals, it would be different. I totally agree. And unfortunately, I don't know who really gave her start in her platform, but hey, and Ray J was one of her clients where, you know, he pushed her up on a pedestal and everything. So that's what I'm saying, man. It's like it's crazy that they be making the wrong people famous, and they be giving props to the people that be doing some of the most evil, destructive ass things, man. So, you know, I really don't know what to say, man. I think we talked enough about both of these topics. Had a hell of a live tonight, man. I appreciate Splashy for pulling up. Appreciate D-Love for pulling up. Brian for pulling up. And everybody else that's in the chat but not saying nothing in the background. Appreciate all y'all. Man, we do this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, man. So,
yep.
And Brian said, and you saw what happened to Ray J. Yes, we saw what happened.
Live.
Yeah, he's not a doctor. Yeah, it's been broke down several times. His reaction is just like hers. Yeah. And we could talk about the scammers in our community and stuff, but we're gonna have to do that on the other note, man. Shit. Hopefully, y'all have a good night. See y'all on the next episode. Peace.
Yo, you now rocking with classic music. Now, what I want you to do is hit that like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Yeah, let's get it.